Welcome, everyone. My name is Jerry Frank, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of STRATAFOLIO, an online software solution designed to help commercial real estate owners optimize their real estate portfolio management while using QuickBooks. And we do all of this specifically for people who own and manage commercial real estate, such as shopping centers, office, industrial, warehouse, medical, really basically anything with a multi-year lease. My co-founder, Uriel Barillas, and I founded the company because as real estate owners ourselves, we recognize how underserved the commercial real estate market was if you were not at the enterprise level. So we built it. There is a very good reason people are adopting cloud software. It helps the bottom line. Today, we will talk through 3 tasks commercial real estate owners should be automating, plus how automation will help you to avoid common mistakes due to manual entries, capitalize on revenue opportunities, save valuable time, and finally deliver measurable results to owners and investors. What happens when owners use a bunch of systems to run their commercial real estate business? You have spreadsheet files to update manually each month. You're transferring data from one system to another. You have documents and paper files, electronic files, Dropbox files, and you have important facts that you've just memorized in your head, or at least you think you've memorized them. All of this is dangerous. Each of these red X's represents time and revenue lost. What are the dangers of doing it this way? You have solutions that are hobbled together that don't natively work as an ecosystem. 2, you use software systems that were designed for residential portfolios and lack the features and functionality needed for commercial real estate, which results in you doing additional manual work. 3rd, you're doing double data entry from one system and manually adding it to another. Plus, you have spreadsheets that have to be developed and maintained manually each month. And we have all been the recipient of a spreadsheet developed by someone else, and parts of it simply don't make sense. So over time, that spreadsheet becomes a jumbled mess. Each one of these bullets adds a place for mistakes and lost revenue. But at STRATAFOLIO, we focus on commercial real estate and people who use QuickBooks. And that is why we are here today. What do you need to run an efficient commercial real estate business? At a minimum, you need to find a system that is tailored for commercial real estate needs and is flexible. You don't have to manually transfer data from one spreadsheet or a software to another. It has a great accounting system. You can track your employee time, and it supports employee payroll based on the time tracking. And finally, you need to be able to quickly find people that are familiar with your accounting system. Those are some of the benefits of using STRATAFOLIO and QuickBooks together. With STRATAFOLIO, we focus on commercial real estate, and we understand you have multiple entities or P&Ls or financial statements, however you want to think about it. We support it. Having multiple charts of accounts makes it very difficult to see a global view of your business, and we realize most people's charts of account are not the same from company to company. At STRATAFOLIO, we are able to combine all your charts of accounts into a unified global view. Commercial leases are not the same as residential leases. You need a system that takes into account the complexities of commercial real estate leases, including common area maintenance, in short, CAM. You need to be able to invoice effortlessly across all of your company files while taking into account the latest lease escalations and CAM charges. And finally, you need a good way to manage your tenants' certificates of insurance. Not tracking those puts you at financial risk when your tenant's coverage lapses and disaster strikes. If they can't pay, you have to pay. Now, this is by no means a comprehensive list, but it is a good start. With QuickBooks, there are a wide array of reports available. You can set up a budget by class. There's cash flow planning when you acquire a new property and remodel. Plus, there's a way for employees to easily track their time from anywhere. And there's a payroll system that is fully integrated with your time tracking accounting system, and it fully complies with state and federal tax and withholdings. And finally, you have a comprehensive system for budgeting and forecasting. There really is a better way to manage your commercial real estate portfolio while still using QuickBooks. With STRATAFOLIO and QuickBooks combined, you get a total commercial property management solution. And in the next few slides, we're going to highlight a few features that illustrate this very point. The first task that commercial real estate owners should automate is Common Area Maintenance Reconciliation, or CAM for short. To give you a good understanding, here's a real-life example. As the property owner of a commercial building, Mark had to deal with CAM reconciliation every year, which he generally didn't get to until March or April. One year, a tenant disputed the charges, claiming that some of the expenses were not really related to common area maintenance. Mark spent hours reviewing lease agreements and invoices and even had to involve a lawyer to resolve the dispute. This experience made him realize how challenging CAM reconciliation is, but even more, he realized the risk and cost associated when it's not done correctly. What created this dispute were two things: poor bookkeeping and a lack of a system. With STRATAFOLIO, we work with your team to clearly identify the reimbursable expenses associated with CAM reconciliation. These categories are fully configurable and are based on your chart of accounts and are calculated based on the tenant's pro rata share. These categories are displayed here, and those are CAM, insurance, and taxes. Since our main focus is commercial real estate, we understand you need to have flexibility regarding your operating expenses. With our product, you get that. The CAM category. It includes common area maintenance expenses specific to your location or needs. A lot of our customers include lighting, landscaping, snow removal, property management, to name just a few. What you include is customizable for each building and each tenant. Plus, you can also add insurance and taxes. You set your budget for your tenant at the beginning of the period. Then, at any point, you can see what the budget amount is in relation to the actuals. In this example, we budgeted a little over $109,000, and we've invoiced a bit over $36,000. So if we run that reconciliation today, we would owe that tenant a bit over $6,000 because we are currently running under budget and we only had about $31,000 in expenses. All of this data is flowing directly from your QuickBooks company file that's integrated with STRATAFOLIO, completely automated. And if you know you're running under budget on a specific category, and there's a cap, you can strategize on how to allocate those remaining funds. For instance, if the cap was on landscaping, you might take those remaining budgeted dollars and replace some overgrown bushes and improve the outward appearance, thereby maintaining the spend to that cap. Now, to run CAM reconciliation and the reconciliation report, you select the time period, and in just one click, you are able to produce a professional-looking CAM reconciliation report, and this can be shared with your tenant. Ultimately, this provides you a lot of peace of mind, but also you will be able to confidently and quickly produce your CAM report shortly after the start of the year or at any time without any double data entry. Second, you get a professional report that is customizable and ready on demand. And third, this will help you reduce your risk and potential litigation. But most importantly, you are not carrying those extra expenses, and you are not surprising the tenant with a big, mid-year, large catch-up invoice. This is a win-win all around. The second task that should be automated is managing lease escalations. By far, this is the most frequent reason people contact us. It's because they missed a lease escalation, sometimes for months, and sometimes, yes, for years. And yes, it is true, the tenant signed a contract. But if both parties have missed the escalation, it becomes awkward and embarrassing because it also means as the owner, you don't have good control over your processes. But not only does it mean missed revenue, but you also wouldn't want your lender or investors to catch wind of that either. During the onboarding lease abstraction process, we determine when all the lease escalations for the tenant go into effect over the life of that lease. That way, when it's time to invoice, you can easily invoice across all your QuickBooks files with just one click. And then during the invoicing, STRATAFOLIO is pulling the correct lease rate for the month we are invoicing. We do this for every tenant, every month, with zero manual manipulation. And this activity syncs directly with QuickBooks. In this situation, we are prepared to invoice 16 tenants with their current lease rates and CAM charges across 4 separate QuickBooks company files. This solves the problem of missed lease escalations. Finally, the third task that should be automated is managing certificates of insurance. Most teams are familiar with the pain of tracking tenant certificates of insurance and the endless attempts at reaching out. Without question, managing COIs is a burdensome process, but it has to be done. Unfortunately, we have seen the negative outcomes when this process is not managed, and tenants accidentally forget to renew their insurance, and then a natural disaster occurs. At that point, the owner is caught holding the bag for all of the repairs. With STRATAFOLIO, we take into account what the lease requires contractually from an insurance perspective, and then we attach the information directly to the tenant. And as the COI or policy is coming due, we start sending messages to the tenant and insurance provider about that policy that is up for renewal. And you watch the activity. There's nothing you have to initiate. We've done the work for you. And then, should they not comply, you are then alerted. At any time, you can access the tenant insurance view and see every tenant and the status of each insurance requirement and policy. Here, you can quickly sort or filter on the data you need to know, and you can easily see where you specifically need to take action. Plus, this information can be quickly shared with investors, lenders, or insurance providers. Like nearly every table in STRATAFOLIO, this is exportable and configurable for your needs. We only focus on 3 critical tasks that should be automated, but there's many, many more. STRATAFOLIO, along with QuickBooks, can positively impact your ROI, and we have the numbers to prove it. Here's a real example based on ROI survey results over the last 12 months. The average company spends a half an hour per unit per month managing their portfolio, and they're paying that resource an average of $43 an hour. They acknowledge that they have lost $21,000 alone from missed lease escalations. And for the companies in this survey, on average, they identified $55,000 in savings. Our average customer subscription and onboarding are far less than half of that. STRATAFOLIO easily pays for itself and provides peace of mind not only to you, but to your lenders as well, who are closely watching the real estate market and their clients. We have learned today the 3 tasks that you should be automating: CAM reconciliation, lease escalations, and certificates of insurance. And we've provided some real-life examples. What are the other reasons you should be adopting automation? 1, we touched on this briefly, but there is an intangible ROI with lenders and others. When you're able to rapidly produce reports, answer questions, provide a rent roll, a debt summary report, you become the client that is easy to work with. Your data is trustworthy, and as a result, you will experience slightly lower interest rates. Whether it's stated or overtly or not, you are being judged on the quality of your data and your processes. And by having all of your files organized in one system, you're paying lower fees during tax time because there's no work for your accountant to do to get ready to do taxes. 2, it's just peace of mind by no longer having anxiety that you're dropping the ball somewhere. 3, tenants' experience is also better. There's no more awkward conversations about missed lease escalation, fast CAM so that tenants can prepare accordingly, and you look professional to your tenants. So your happy tenants will want to renew, and you can avoid that relisting, vacant space, broker fees to refill. And 4, most important of all, you are able to run your business more efficiently. You and your team are going to be able to bring on more projects and contribute to your own growth. Contact us today to talk with an expert. Learn about our exclusive bundle package and see how STRATAFOLIO can help your business grow to that new next level. Thank you.